California, land of sunshine, seas, oceans. Hollywood, Beverly Hills, those beautiful people in their sports cars, you know, the convertibles driving down the highway. They're thriving. They're living wonderful lives. They're lucky. I wasn't so lucky. I didn't grow up on that side of that hill. I grew up in a little different neighborhood. It's a little tough where I grew up. Got bullied a lot. We grew up in poverty. I started using drugs at 11 years old. That's how tough it was over there. Abuse, neglect. And then my little brother committed suicide. And I thought, you just can't get any more unlucky than that. I've broken it. You know, there's no chance for me. So I gave up, and I just kind of invested myself in drug use. I figured, well, if I'm going to be broken, I might as well really be broken. Steal my little moments of pleasure wherever I could. See, that's a victim mentality. You get into that victim mentality, and you start doing bad things to yourself just to get by, just to survive, just to get to the next day. It culminated at about age 22. And I woke up one morning looking at my hands. And I could swear that I did enough drugs that I was dissolving the molecular bonds that held me together. I was disintegrating right before my very eyes. Now, you can call that amphetamine-induced psychosis if you like. But to me, it was very real. And I thought, if I did one more bad thing, if I did one more drug, that's it. I'm over the edge. I'm going to die. And I got scared, but it's not the kind of scared where you're like really afraid. It was more like, I want to live. But how? How to live? See, when you're a victim, when you've been hurt, and you adopt that mentality, you get stuck. I mean, really stuck. You get stuck in that feedback loop of doing the things, the maladaptive behaviors that allow you to kind of survive, but they leave you vulnerable for the next attack. They leave you vulnerable to being injured, hurt, and victimized in distress again, which requires more maladaptive behaviors. For example, using drugs to make your emotional pain go away leads to more problems like being arrested and being kicked out of your house and all those other fun things. So the goal, though, is to get out of that mentality into the other side, into thriving. How do we do that? Most psychologists have a theory that they follow, a theoretical orientation, if you will. And I'm not much of a follower. I'm not much of a conformist. And I thought to myself, what if I came up with a theory? What if I came up with an idea of how to live this imaginary thriving life, to get out of that victim mentality? How could I do that? And I thought to myself, you know what? All the theories out there describe how people are broken. They describe how people are in dysfunction. And I thought, well, why not describe somebody who's already healthy and maybe do what they do? Pick that imaginary healthy person and try to be kind of like them. So I thought long and hard about it. I crunched the numbers in my head and all the different concepts and ideas, and I came up with this. A thriving person, a healthy person, knows their core self. They know themselves deeply at their very core. They adapt to the ever-changing needs of their environment through skills and courage. And they believe they can shape their future. Imagine that, hope. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? How are we going to apply that principle? Henry David Thoreau described a mass of men leading lives of quiet desperation. How true that was 100 years ago and how true that is today. Most people living lives of quiet desperation. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. I was running the LA Marathon in 2013. I was pretty proud of myself. I'd kind of turned my life around a bit. And I met this woman there. Wonderful woman. Had a pink shirt on. And she was telling me how she was running this race in honor of the fact that she was now cancer-free for 5 years. She was a breast cancer survivor. She was very happy about that. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. But you're running a race. You're raising awareness. You're raising money for breast cancer research. You're helping other people. I see the smile on your face. You know what? You're not a survivor. And she just, whoa. I said, you're a thriver. And she took ownership of that. That was pretty cool, right? Thrivers are the kind of people that appear to others as if their personal goal is to harvest as much joy as possible from life. Wouldn't you like to do that? Sounds interesting, isn't it? So we go back to that moment where I'm sitting in my bedroom staring at my hands. And I'm thinking something has to change. Something has got to change. But I didn't want to just live life not taking my self-soothing strategy that was maladaptive of choice, because I felt like the universe was going to continue to hammer me and I wouldn't have any protection. I wouldn't have any soothing. So what I decided was that I did want to live a life that could handle that. How was I going to do it? Well, to start with, stop poisoning yourself. That's a good one. Quit riding your motorcycle like a maniac. That was a good one. Quit hanging around with some of the people you're hanging around with. That's pretty good. And maybe, just maybe, you might be able to start living a life where you're not suffering your own pain, your own consequences, your own side effects of your own choices. That felt pretty good. It lasted about 2 months. Steve, would you like some drugs? Hell yes. But no, I can't. I've already made a promise to myself. No, thank you very much. It's tough to white knuckle it, to just barely get by. And then a thought came to me, a time where I was thriving when I was a child. And I remember my little brother and I used to watch Bruce Lee movies on TV. And then we would go out in the backyard later and we would practice our moves. And, oh, it was horrible. But we thought if I knew some kung fu, maybe I wouldn't get bullied. Maybe I wouldn't get picked on by the bullies in the neighborhood. We wouldn't be afraid of being picked on. Never happened. But now here I am thinking, what am I going to do now? Okay, I'm going to be sober and I'm going to get my life together, I think, but I need something more. So I went out and in my brother's honor, I looked around at different dojos, martial arts studios, and I found one. This one particular one, it spoke to me. I started working out with these guys and I made new friends, people who were forward thinking, and they taught me about focus and meditation and dedication. And I set myself that goal of getting the black belt. And I achieved it. And it felt so good. It's working. My new plan is working. What else could I have the courage to do? And at 26 years old, I had the audacity to go sign up for college. Me, the guy that got kicked out of high school, the guy that was voted most likely to be dead by 25 or in jail. I walked into the college and I opened up the doors. Excuse me, may I come in? Is it okay? Am I allowed in here? They said, oh yeah, come on in. And I found out that when you study something that you love, that you're actually interested in, it's amazing how easy the work is. I didn't care about the grades. I cared about the knowledge I was absorbing. When I was studying human anatomy, I didn't want to know 70% of the bones. I wanted to know all of the bones. Would you like to go to a doctor who only got a C on his bones test? And the grades came, and I wound up graduating magna cum laude. Me, holy smokes, how did I do that? I got into graduate school. Graduate school was wonderful, learned even more. And now I'm becoming a psychologist, and I thought, what kind of psychologist am I going to become? I don't want to become the picture of a psychologist, that caricature. You know, the guy with the tweed jacket with the little suede elbow patches on. How does that make you feel? Didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be authentic to my true spirit. The psych on the bike. It's kind of an odd combination, isn't it? A psychologist biker. Seems to work for me. But I think the main thing that I really wanted, I wanted to become the kind of psychologist that my brother could have talked to. It's important. So what do I want you to do? See, I know my plan. I'm very focused, comfortable with my plan. Don't ingest poison, meditate, exercise, ride my motorcycle, spend time with my wife and son. I have a pretty good life. I feel like I'm pretty much thriving. But you can't follow my program. You've got to follow yours. There's no one-size-fits-all plan to thriving, is there? You have to do it. You have to find that thing that gives you joy, that makes your heart skip a beat or two, the thing that you're afraid to go do, maybe. You have to have the courage to thrive. Thriving takes courage. So what do I want you to do? I want you to find that thing that makes you happy, that makes you want to thrive. I want you to get out of that victim mentality where you're thinking about, oh, I can just barely get by. Living that life of quiet desperation. And truly start to live. Expand your world. Get out of your comfort zone. I'm going to get on my bike and feel the wind in my hair, the rumble of the engine underneath me, the lean of the curves, and I'll be in my bliss. What courageous act are you going to do that allows you to thrive? Thank you.